What's going on, crew? I'm out here in Los Angeles at our home base with Netka Bowl. We are going to be reviewing 2 balls today that I am super excited about. Probably going to make it in my bag. Kind of say that about most of the balls, but I think these 2 actually are going to make it in my bag. We're talking about the new Rotogrip Xcell and the Harsh Reality Pearl. I love the Harsh Reality. It's in my bag. It's probably my strongest ball, but I know after throwing this Harsh Pearl, a lot of people are going to be excited about this ball. It's definitely very versatile, and then you got the Xcell as solid for all the people on heavy oil that need it. We got a guest here with us today, a special guest, Ron Hickland from Creating the Difference. Super excited to hear his take on some of these balls, but also we're gonna pick his brain about some bowling stuff too, so we all can get better too. So let's go check out what the boys are doing. Oh, Ron.
How you feel?
Creating the Difference's own.
Yeah, man. What's going on with you?
Man, I'm good. I'm glad to have you out here in LA. Finally got you on the West Coast.
Yeah. I love LA, man. I love LA.
We get to talk some of these new rocks, man. Anything exciting about them that you've heard?
I mean, it's been kind of cool to watch the evolution, especially of just kind of what Storm's been doing in the last 6 to 12 months, I would tell you.
Yeah.
Xcell, they forgot a few letters on that ball.
Yeah.
They forgot the ENT. It's really excellent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like that ball. I like that ball.
And then what about the Harsh Reality Pearl?
I mean, the Harsh Reality, man, that's the piece that when you want the ball to go down the lane, go sideways.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it's time
People
to
like
jump
me
in.
appreciate that.
Yeah, when you want to jump in and make it do the thing, then that's what you grab.
When you want the ball to do the thing,
right?
You use that. Okay. So we're gonna throw these for a little bit. I got Earl the Pearl back here. He's gonna hop in with us. But yeah, man, I just want to throw it a little bit and hear what you think about it after, seeing these in real time. Because, we got the solid, we got us a ASIM Pearl. We're pretty much dealing with big balls other than the Ion Pro.
Correct.
So, I don't know for you how you would translate to that to bowlers that, typically probably bowl league, people that are bowling in tournaments, what would, probably be a good fit for them based off of what they're doing. But I feel like as we go, we can dive in all of that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so let's get it. Xcell could be my new baby. We're gonna find out. Pocket had no chance. Feels like a tank when it hits the pins. I like that.
I mean, it's a strong ASIM ball, right?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's a tank.
So you would use typically strong ASIM balls on the fresh.
Yep.
The reason being is because those balls tend to want to pick up a little bit earlier. They tend to be able to get through a little bit more oil and be able to still give you a nice performance. So right now we're bowling on the fresh, so it makes a lot of sense to grab the strong ball.
Yep. And I feel like it's getting down there very, very, very smooth. It's almost like it's no effort whatsoever right now.
Right, so that's the surface, right? So it comes out the factory 2000 grit. So that's not too early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not like super shiny either.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get that right in between. 2000 is like right in the middle of the grit range.
Okay.
So it's good to be able to use that, especially when you have a little bit more oil, but not so much oil where it's like, man, my ball's going too long.
Yeah.
But the best part is you can adjust that easy too. If you need it to be a little more aggressive, you can bring it down to 1,500. And if it's going a little too long, you can also go the other way too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, so that's a good tip for all you guys out there that don't know how to use your, pads. Taking it down to 1,000 is gonna allow it to read a little bit earlier if it's going a little bit too long. But this being at 2,000, like you said, it gives us that balance of like, all right, it doesn't have to be too, oily for you to use it.
Correct.
But I like that. It gets down there really smooth. That makes sense.
And honestly, this ball also, the original ball was called the Cell. They made a ball called the Cell. And that ball was phenomenal.
Everybody loves it. I wasn't bowling when that came out.
That ball was phenomenal, bro. So when they said that they was going to bring it back, I was like, they got a high bar to live up to. Right from the rip, because that ball was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But they did the right thing.
Doing thing. You got to excel, Earl. And mind you, Earl's throwing mine with 3 fingers, but for some reason I have a feeling he's going to make it look good.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't it feel big when it hit the pins? Like, you can tell it's definitely...
It's strong.
Yeah,
it's strong, man.
Earl's first reviews are great. Gary, little mixture.
I'm so happy I'm subbing on our league tonight.
Yo, your lefty, I'm here, man.
Oh yeah, by the way, we got Ron
subbing
tonight,
have my own little line. We good.
Taking full advantage of him being there.
We good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
It's in the car. Hey.
Ooh. I like the way that goes through the pins though more than anything right now, I can honestly say.
Yeah.
How big of a difference do you feel like having your pin up, down, side? What difference does that really make in the ball going through the pins or the shape of it?
They're not gonna like this, bro. But I'm gonna tell you. So, like, you know, I used to design bowling balls.
Exactly.
So we used to test different pin positions, different layouts. We would do all kinds of things. I think what it really comes down to is like what you're bowling on.
Okay.
If you're the average league bowler bowling on a league environment, you're not gonna see that much difference.
Okay.
It's just not possible.
Exactly.
We're talking about 1 or 2 boards here.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 at the absolute most. If you're bowling on the U.S. Open and it's dead flat and your RPMs is 500. You know what I'm saying? But like the average league bowler, they're not gonna see the
They're not gonna notice. That's what I was thinking, and I tell people that, but it's one of those things where everybody hears the technicalities that everybody else is using.
Yeah, and it's visual.
Yeah, and it's visual.
You can be like, oh, my pin's here, and my pin's here, so they should look very, very different.
Yeah.
They look different.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the only thing that's touching the lane is the surface, right? So surface cover stock, that's the thing that's gonna make the most impact. It's
gonna drive
the
it the
core is
most,
really
yeah.
impacting the bowling ball in terms of like the shape. It can impact the shape.
Yeah.
Right? But the majority of your ball motion
gonna be the surface.
is coming from the cover and the surface. That's just what it is.
Okay. You hear that, people? Getting that insider info, y'all better use it. Man,
Going through the pin is nice.
I love this ball. I like it more than I liked it yesterday.
It does the same thing for you as it does for me, as it does for him, as it does for Earl. It's the
it's gonna
same
give you that shape.
So because of that, that's one of the reasons why the original ball was so good, and that's the same characteristic that this ball has. So that's why
That's why you like it.
There's very few balls that are like that.
Yeah.
Like that actually we all can throw it and they all kind of roll about the same. It's the same kind of shape, but that's one of the balls that doesn't.
Okay, cool. And I feel like, I know when we worked with Mark, he said the absolute power felt like that a little bit too. He's like, everybody that comes through here, after they throw that ball, come back like, love that ball because it does the same thing for everybody.
Right. And it's really, really easy to read. Like, we'll be able to watch and read the transition. That helps too. Being able to watch, you know, sometimes you get bowling balls and they're good, and it's split. And you're like, well, I didn't throw it that bad. Why didn't it? But this ball will give you a little warning.
Yeah, warning before. Yeah, we need those
warnings.
warnings.
Heads up, bro.
Yeah, a little high flush or maybe, you know, a stone 4,
Yeah, you
solid
see
4.
it, and then
Like,
okay, make my little 2-on-1 and we good to go.
But it's not gonna
You're not
be
big
too
for it.
unforgiving.
Yeah, you're not big for it. You're not gonna wash out. You know, it's
I
gonna be
need
something
that.
readable.
I need that. What did I throw last? I threw a big 4 when I needed a strike last night. It was unforgiving.
That ain't no fun. That ain't no fun.
Hey, but because of Earl, we still won. I was waiting to mention that part. Get in there.
So even though that one was in,
shape.
but it's the same shape. So he missed in a little bit, but the ball still has the same kind of shape. We call that continuous. So there's really 4 types of ball motion: traction, continuous, angular, and straight. Continuous, which is what this ball is, puts more in the mid lane, and once it starts to go, it keeps going.
It keeps going.
That's
so
what
when
continuous
you're hoping the ball pushes, you're like, push.
Right.
That's what that ball is good for.
Right.
It's gonna push more than other ones.
Now, conversely, the harsh reality, that's gonna be an angular ball.
Oh, yeah.
It goes down the lane further before it makes the move.
Oh yeah, that thing is definitely angular.
Right, and knowing that will kind of help you make the right decision when it comes to to know when to use what ball.
Okay. I'm getting better already, Ron. I do too. Woo. Talk about continuous. I think that one might be behind the pit. I'm gonna throw the harsh pearl next. I want to see what it's looking like on the same condition.
Right there, right there. That's it. I mean, that's the key.
That's
so,
the ball.
And because of how, like, if you watch the shape, right, you watch how it begins to pick up, but once it picks up, it keeps going.
Yeah.
That's what makes it easy to read. That's what makes it
More forgiving.
one of those balls that's more forgiving. That's ultimately what you're looking for.
Okay, cool. Let's try this harsh pearl then. See what it looked like on these conditions. You got yours with you?
No, I brought my ion pro.
Ion, so we can compare that then. How about that? Yeah, I want to see this angular. This is something that's more somebody like me with my, style of play.
Correct.
This is where I want to play. I want to be able to play somewhere where I can make more angle. So I'm going to move over a little bit. Whoa, not that much angle. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's get a good one out of there. I am human.
So here's the difference between the two bowling balls.
Yep.
That ball is cleaner.
It is.
Before it makes the move. So you got two options. There is friction to the right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can either move everything back right, or you have to adjust the surface and or slow it down.
Slow it down first. Let's slow it down first.
Those are your options.
So let me slow this down. Since I'm over there, just because I've seen what this ball can do a little bit. I'm curious to see if I can get that off. So I'm gonna slow down, and I'm gonna move right a little bit, since I'm not changing the surface. See? A little slower, you can see it. I definitely would be playing more right. I would probably honestly use this once it breaks down a little bit more too. Yeah, so I can understand that.
Basically, you would start out with the Xcell because it's still fresh.
Exactly.
But once they break down, what'll happen is you'll begin to move left. As you begin to move left, the Xcell will then begin to be a little bit weak.
Yeah.
You'll start leaving the flat 10 pin.
And I hate that.
Yeah, everybody hates that. That's when you want to make a move to an angular ball. So now you can take the angular ball in that same part of the lane. It still gets to that spot, but now when it makes the move, you ain't leaving the flat 10 pin, you're kicking it out.
You're kicking it out.
Yep.
And what is your remedy to flat 10s other than ball changing?
Right, so that can either be a small one in one move. It can be something as simple as just slowing it down a little bit. Yeah, you can move forward too.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of little bitty adjustments that you can do to kick the corner pins out. There we go.
I love how it comes off the spot.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah.
It's strong. The only time
So
I
now
really
we're
would make a
lined up.
ball change, the only time I'd make a ball change if I was bowling, would be like if it was right-handed. If it was a 10 pin and then a 4 pin, that means you got the wrong bowling ball and or you're in the wrong part of the lane.
Yeah.
This time to move.
Yep.
Time to move.
Yep. That literally was my life yesterday. I'm like,
how
oh
you know.
wow, 10. Then I kick the 10 out, and up, here comes the 4. God.
Yeah. That's when you know it's time to make a move. You got to either get out of that zone or ball change.
And I had to get out of that zone. That was how I learned how the horse pearl can move. So it comes off the spot so hard that I realized I was able to get more room,
Correct.
And I was like, all right, so I had to leave my eyes and keep moving my legs with that ball. And it was eating up that oil just fine. Still reading the whole way. I was like, wow.
And that's the best part of an angular ball, right? So you can create more. You can create more through the front, because the ball still saves it for the back end, and then it'll make the move.
And that's where my rotation comes in handy, because I got to make sure the ball's saving energy. Because if it ain't got no energy, it's going through them pins a little loosey goosey. Let your ball save some energy.
So see, he got it right.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Still comes back because it's angular.
Now he does the exact same thing. With the Xcell, it's going to be too smooth. It'll be too early. It'll be too
it'll
early.
probably go through the nose. Then.
Yes, it'll be too early. But with the harsh, it's able to get down the lane far enough before it makes the move, and now all of a sudden you got room for error.
And then when it makes the move, it's making it hard.
Yeah,
it's coming over the spot hard.
And that's really what you're looking for. Like knowing that that's what how the lanes kind of are going to transition. You want, and knowing that you're going to have free hook to the right, then that's when you go to the angular ball and you throw to the right.
You just let the ball go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah, and so his benchmark ball is the Vivo, Virtual Energy Blackout, for people that don't know what that is. And me personally, I think that's one of the smoothest, cleanest balls that I've seen. I don't know what they did with that cover to make that ball react the way that it does, but it almost like it just floats. It's a graceful, you know what I mean, type of motion off the spot, as opposed to it feeling like it switches gears. What makes a ball, well, you said the cover, plays such a huge factor, but what difference in the cores make the balls react differently?
So there's a lot that goes into that too, right? So like both those balls are asymmetric, right? But there's the mass bias, which is how strong the asymmetry is. That matters. So the higher,
how strong the asymmetry is. What does that mean? So
like when you're looking at a bowling ball, the numbers, and it'll say 250 RG, and it'll say 0.050 differential, right? That's the flare. But then there's one more number, the mass bias, and that'll be a 10 or a 12 or a 15, or even higher. So typically the way that works is the higher the mass bias, the earlier the ball is.
Okay, I've never paid attention to the mass bias number.
So let me look them up. Let me look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm like,
most people don't.
I'm learning new information. We're all learning this together, y'all. And this is why I like having you here, because I'm like, I get to find out all kinds of stuff I haven't known about. So there's a mass bias number. So when you guys are looking at balls, a lot of people are focused on the RG and the diff, but there's also a mass bias number if it's an asymmetrical ball. Because asymmetrical balls, they have a mass bias because it's not symmetrical, so there has to be a point where that weight is distributed.
So it's called PSA, preferred spin axis is what that means.
So that's what the PSA is.
That's also mass bias.
Okay.
Basically what that is it's how much difference there is in the core between this axis and this axis. So let me explain to you real quick.
Okay.
This is the core. My phone's the core. All right. So this is where the pin is.
Yep.
This is the low RG axis.
Okay.
So when you see it says the number was 2.50, 2.48. 2.48 RG, that means on this axis, the number is 2.48.
Okay.
Then they give you differential that says 052. So differential is the difference between this axis and this axis.
Okay.
So this axis is 52 points higher than this number. So they're actually giving you both numbers. But they call it differential. They take this number, which is the highest number on the ball, minus the lowest number, and that's the differential.
And that's why they call it differential, because it's subtractive.
It's the difference. Well, hold on, we got one more for you, right? So, so now we've done this, and we've done this, but there's also an axis that goes this way.
Okay, and that's the mass bias.
So the mass bias is the difference between the high number and the intermediate number.
Okay.
So there's three numbers, right? There's the low, the medium, and the high.
Okay.
And basically in bowling, we talk about RG, which is the low number. We talk about differential, which is between the high and the low. And we talk about mass bias, which is between the high and the medium.
Okay.
The higher that difference is between the high and the medium, the stronger the ball, the earlier the ball stays off the hook. Now here's the thing about that though. If you throw the ball really hard, if you don't have a lot of reps, if you typically struggle getting your bowling ball to hook, the higher mass bias PSA number, the
more your ball is still going to read earlier.
The more hook you actually get. Because you're actually being able to utilize that, right? But think about this. If you're a high rev rate player, if you're a slow ball speed player, then it kind of works a little bit against you because now it wants your ball to hook earlier.
Too much, so it's almost too much at that point.
That's why the guys on tour always throw the symmetrical balls for the most part. That's why.
Because they got a lot of revs.
They got a lot of
rotations on point, everything is lining up.
They don't need the additional help.
Yeah.
So the good thing is...
So that's why low diff balls are so attractive to them.
That's right. That's right. It all makes sense when you start thinking about it.
It does now.
But that's why. That's why. When you're trying to make a benchmark ball, you don't want the asymmetry.
Yeah.
Because I don't want there to be a difference between the high rev rate guy and the low rev rate guy. Right?
You want everybody to be able to use it. Yeah.
I don't need a lot of differential. Differential, which is the difference between the high number and the low number, the difference. That also creates more flare.
Okay.
More flare really promotes earlier hook. Same thing. So if you're a high rev rate guy, you don't need earlier hook.
Yeah, unless you're throwing it fast as hell and it's still reading. But you can't do that on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, so you're trying to make a benchmark type ball, you're gonna go lower differential. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's crazy because I see people, and even myself with low differential balls, sometimes we can still make that thing move, but it's just only because, everything else has to be right. Conditions gotta be right.
Correct.
Your rotation, axis tilt gotta be right. But it's like, it never gets too out of control. Like I've noticed that. Like that's why I like the Ion Pro so much, is because I'm like, I feel like I can drive this like a Ferrari, but it's gonna have handling like, a luxury car, and it's not gonna let me get too out of control no matter how hard I hit the gas.
So that's the beautiful thing about it, right? So IQ Tour, low differential, symmetrical ball. And they work for the masses because of that. Then what you can do, now you can use surface to get, if let's say we're throwing the Ion Pro, going too long. Now we'll adjust it with surface. Let's say, oh, well, no, I really need something a little bit more aggressive. Now I'm gonna go to Xcell because it's just a stronger ball. It's more diff, it's more mass bias, it's a stronger shell, it's gonna be a stronger ball. Okay, well, now that's fine, except now it's too early, and I need something that's gonna actually come around the corner. Harsh reality.
Now you pull that out because you have to create that angle to get to the corner.
So so when people talk about like building a ball arsenal, what I'll do first, I'll start like looking at how you throw the ball.
Yeah.
Because if you're a slow player, you throw it slow, your revs are low.
You might need a little bit of help on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You may go more toward the asymmetric route, right? If you throw it 100, if you throw it, let's say like you, like I'm watching you ball, I'm like, okay, you're more kind of in the medium of both, right? You don't throw it 100 miles an hour and you ain't got 700 RPM.
Yeah.
You're more in the medium. So I can give you both.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give you some asymmetric balls and some symmetrical balls.
That's why I've been gravitating towards both, you know, more so now. Like I've realized the
you can use
power
both.
of them both.
But you go to somebody like a Belmo or like an EJ or just
where the
somebody like that.
ratio's different. Yeah.
They don't typically need the super strong ball.
Yeah.
They'll go to they'll go to the ball that's much more lower differential, much more symmetrical, and then they'll be able to use that all day long.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. What'd you just learn? There we go. Hey. There you have it. Harsh Reality Pearl. New Xcell from Rotogrip. Ion Pro. Cop all three of them. That's an arsenal right there in itself. I mean, let's be real. We got Ron Hickland creating a difference. Shout out to him. You already know. Everything is tagged. Make sure you come back, drop your broomsticks, let us know. We probably gonna be doing another giveaway soon. I'm not gonna let you know what ball it is because I feel like all of them are really good that we're gonna give you anyway, so you'll be fine. Till next time.